Good morning, garden friends. Thought I would give you a tour of my front fence garden. So here in this corner, I have my Globemaster Allium. In the very corner near that post, I have some Orient Pet Lily. So my front fence garden, its main plants that I have in here are iris, peonies, allium, and then there's phlox. So those are the main things I have in this garden. And all my Orient Pet Lilies. So that's the main things. Along this edge here, I have a row of Millennium Allium. So I had bought one plant a few years ago, and then after its second year, I just divided it and put one little bulb right along the front. So that's starting to fill in nicely. I also have some hydrangeas in here, and I did poke in a rhododendron back in here. It's actually looking pretty good this year. It's actually never bloomed. It's been there like 3-4 years. This is not a good spot. This garden only gets sun in the early morning. So, all right. So if I come along here, these are a purple iris. So what I did was I sectioned off this garden along my fence. I think there's 5 different sections, but I framed them with some Karl Forster grass. So somewhere's in here, down in here, there's some Karl Forster grass. And then in most sections at the ends, I have 3 of them. So we'll see that. So here's one of my peonies. So for each section, what I did was I put a specific type of peony along with a specific color of iris. So in this area, you can see I have a pink peony with purple iris. Then as you walk down and you get to this section, and as you can see here, right there, you can see my 3 Karl Forster grasses. So they'll keep growing, they'll look great. Also, you can then get a better shot of my Orient Pet Lilies. This here, I have a feeling is probably an orange tiger lily. Anything that has a stalk that big and it's only been there a year or so, you know that it's got to be something like that. Here is one of my allium. Isn't that cool? I like that. Just something unique. And most of my allium are done blooming. So as you come along here, now this next section, as you can see, is white iris. Last year they were in a lot more fuller bloom than this year. I mean, every year's a little different. I do not recall what color peony is in this area. It's probably my dark red. I planted these peonies quite a few years ago, but they're just taking time to establish because I do not give them extra water. They only get limited sun, so it's just slow going for them. So then as I move down through this section here, you can see I have my rust-colored iris. So if we zip in, let's get a close-up of these. Aren't they gorgeous? Look at that. Love them. I don't see any peonies really doing well in this area, but that's okay. I think the ones in this area are probably white. I tried to color coordinate them to some point, so there was nothing clashing. So as we move up here, I do have a raspberry colored iris sitting here. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's one of my favorite things is in the morning is the sunlight just shines right through the iris. Before I continue, I'm just gonna go back this way and you're gonna see how my garden looks from this direction. So you have the rust colored iris, the white ones, purple with the pink peony, and then my allium. In here, I've let this area from here up to this large tree pretty much let it do whatever it wants to do. What was here before are phlox, so these are your old-fashioned phlox. They are your old-fashioned tiger lilies, orange tiger lilies. And then I actually have the old farm daylilies. So I continue. See, there's these raspberry looking iris. I'm going to come up this way and then I'll turn around. From this big tree. There we go. So I had my landscapers go all the way up to this large tree with the mulch. So if I turn around and continue down into my backyard. So this is still along my front fence. This is my backyard front fence garden. I had planted, I think I got 100, 200 of a type of allium, if I can, see if I can remember, something like Persian or, I don't quite remember, but they didn't seem to last very long in the purple stage. But then again, I was on vacation the week before Memorial Day, and during that time I was gone. So in this area I do have a couple hydrangeas. These are the old-fashioned Annabelles, so they'll get really big. They don't get a lot of water back here, so they're a little slow. I don't know what else I have planted here. I guess I don't have... I'm just pausing because I'm trying to remember if I planted anything else beyond these allium, and there might be a few bushes back there, but along the front, nothing. So I might have to add something here that will like a little bit of the shade. It's close to my water spigot, so I can provide them with some water. I'm thinking maybe a hydrangea needs to go here. You never can have too many hydrangeas. Nothing really planted here except just a few weeds. There is another hydrangea that is, I'm sure, probably an Annabelle. This hydrangea here is a Summer Crush. Got it on sale like at Lowe's. Definitely was not 18 bucks. I got it on sale because it probably was in the get rid of me shelf because they hadn't watered it. Here I have these sugar maples, and they tend to lean over into the yard. I'm going to see if my husband will do some trimming. Along here I have coneflowers. Took me a while to remember what they were. Different, mostly just the pink ones. Pink, there's some white in here. There might be a little bit of a peachish color. I still need to get in here and do some more mulching. This is the mulch that we got from like Chip Drop one year. So, hey, it does its job. I'm fine with that. I've got lilies in here. So right now this may look a little messy, and I haven't cut the grass along the fence on the outside. So the backdrop is just high grass because I have, or had, I do have. I have daffodils. Sorry about that. I got distracted because I noticed the grass on the other side of my fence has already been cut. And I usually give instructions to my helpers not to cut this grass for 6 weeks while the daffodils are, out there in their green state, storing energy for next year. But it looks like they just do what they want, honestly. I don't have a lot of control over that. So I've got my coneflowers, I got more lilies, and more allium. There's mostly coneflowers in here. I do have some, I think this might be Walker's Low Nepeta. And then I also have, I think, 5, 2, 4, 5 Winterweed. I think they are some type of Veronica. I'd have to look at my notes. Daylily? No, not a daylily. A coneflower. And as I go through here, yes, my dad finished this area for me all the way up to here. So that's why this area looks quite fresh compared to that area. And I'm still working on this back garden. This is probably my newest garden at the moment. This plant may look bad. Not too sure why, but it does. But it is some type of elderberry. So it's going to pretty much grow like a weed anyway. So I just need to trim that. I mean, look at this elderberry. I need to trim that down a little bit also. Over here, I had thrown down some hollyhock seeds. And there's one growing there. And I have some growing here. I thought I also threw down some, I have like a couple different hollyhocks. These I think are the giant black ones. And I thought I had thrown down some of my normal hollyhock seeds, but I do not see them. But that's fine. And then this is my vanilla strawberry hydrangea. I had wanted one of these forever, and I picked one up last year, and it's actually looking pretty good this year. A little trimming. There's, the top 10 inches or so look like they didn't grow, but I'll just let it grow from there. So this is my front fence garden, and I'm hoping to add some other flowers in here. Especially I'd like to do some different type of nepetas, ones that bloom a little bit nicer, and also I'm thinking some like salvias. I have a Back to the Fuchsia salvia that I bought last year and put in my other garden. I was extremely impressed with that. And that is just finishing blooming in my sun garden. So it would be perfect to add to this garden to give it some color, early spring or mid-spring. I mean, a few weeks ago, the salvia in my sun garden was blooming beautifully. So that's what this garden needs. So I hope you enjoyed my tour, and may all your wandering take you to many wonderful places.